Q30 Newscast. We have a Connecticut festival featuring local businesses and their services, and more on Quinnipiac's annual Fresh Checkpoint.
We also have details on the conversion of Hamden Middle School, and we look at how the university recognized the one-year marking of the Hamas attack.
And in lighter news, we have an inside look at the new cafe just down the street.
All that and more coming up on the Q30 Newscast. Hello and welcome to the Q30 Newscast. I'm Brianna Tractorberg.
And I'm Seb Lopes. This past Monday, the Colors of Connecticut Festival took place at the M&T Bank Arena. The event was sponsored by Quinnipiac M&T Bank Centers for Women in Business and Innovation and Entrepreneurship.
The event celebrated inclusivity and belonging in the entrepreneurial space.
Q30's Emily Katz has more on the event.
Live music, informational panels, and an inclusive space for small business owners to feature and showcase their products and services. All this was experienced at the second annual Colors of CT Festival. It was a day devoted to fostering inclusivity for entrepreneurs all around Connecticut.
So it's really about celebrating entrepreneurial spirit for doing what they do.
The festival was held in the Recreation and Wellness Center and sponsored by the M&T Bank Center for Women in Business and Innovation and Entrepreneurship. From crocheted creations to food trucks and a fashion show, this event had it all.
I think it's a great opportunity for people to learn more about the resources around them because not everyone knows about a lot of these businesses, and this gives people an opportunity to network and meet each other and learn what all these different businesses have to offer.
This festival was built on the Sip and Shop initiative held in February, but this time expanding to include a wider range of entrepreneurs. Denisha Collins, the founder of Sip and Shop, spoke on the event's growth.
It was a very small event. We were just uplifting and highlighting women of color entrepreneurs, and then it just grew over the years. In February, we had about 60 vendors. Now we're up to 10 more vendors, and it's expanded to now be a festival.
We have a responsibility to try, right? We have a responsibility to step forward in some level of vulnerability.
Entrepreneurs were able to sell their goods to the public while also participating and networking through two panels that focused on empowering underserved individuals. The Colors of CT Festival brought out the true entrepreneurial spirit that exists in Connecticut. This event gave entrepreneurs the opportunity to thrive, building resources to continue to grow their businesses.
The Colors of CT Festival was a huge success for all small business owners involved. Keep your eyes posted for when this festival returns to Quinnipiac. Reporting from the Recwell Center for Q30 News, I'm Emily Katz.
Quinnipiac President Julie Orlean shared in an email on Tuesday that last week while cycling in Arizona, she was struck by a pickup truck. Orlean suffered a back injury from the accident. In the email, she said that, quote, "I am receiving treatment while continuing the work of the university. You will see me wearing a brace over the next couple of months. That's part of the healing process," end quote.
The Student Government Association held a special election today, and the results have come out. The positions up for voting were Class of 2026 Senator, Veteran Senator, and Athlete Senator. Tom Tahini is the new Class of 2026 Senator, Danielle Burney is the Veteran Senator, and Kira Baxter is the Athlete Senator. They will be in their positions for the next academic year.
The Office of International Students and Scholars is currently seeking donations for their OISS winter closet. They will accept any lightly used winter clothing item that is in good condition and cleaned. Students, faculty, and staff can drop off their donation items at the OISS office in the Arnold Bernard Library at S122, across from One Stop. The office will be accepting donations from now until the end of October.
The Office of International Students and Scholars launched this a couple of years ago. I think 2 years ago we started with this program, with this event, to help our new incoming student, because many of them probably this is their first time experience this kind of cold weather.
The old Hamden Middle School is in conversation of being demolished and replaced with an arts and cultural center. Approval is still being awaited and could take up to 6 months. Ava Crossley has more.
Behind me here is the former Michael J. Whelan Middle School. Now, since its closure in 2002, this building remains mostly empty, welcoming only the occasional vandal or petty arsonist. But vandalism isn't the only issue with this site that the town is now trying to convert into an arts and youth recreation center. Over 2 decades ago, the school was closed due to contamination in the soil. That contamination comes from a landfill that used to occupy the plot. According to a 2004 report from the Department of Public Health, that dumping left behind lead, arsenic, and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. Asbestos was also found in some of the materials used to build the school back in 1956. The main effects of prolonged exposure to those materials is cancer. Contractors are working to remove these contaminants before the building is demolished and the new Arts and Youth Recreation Center is constructed on the site. Residents from the area I spoke to, who declined to go on camera, said they were concerned the cleanup efforts won't be enough. But following a community engagement meeting on September 26th, plans are moving forward to convert the plot. Hamden Mayor Lauren Garrett told WTNH that the building will be home to a gym, theater, study lounge, kitchen, and more spaces for the youth of Hamden. Now Mayor Garrett says the site is awaiting approval from the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection. That's a process that could take up to 6 months. Reporting in Hamden for Q30 News, I'm Evangeline Crossley.
This afternoon, SPB and WQAQ announced the 502s as this year's headliner for Fall Fest. They are known as the happiest band on earth. Fall Fest will be happening this Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m. In addition to the concert, the event will include food trucks, games, and a variety of outdoor activities. The event is free to all Quinnipiac students.
The park that houses the famous mountain, the Sleeping Giant, is celebrating 100 years of being open this Saturday, October 12th, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The celebration will begin at 10 a.m. with an hour of remarks from officials and local indigenous tribal leaders, reflecting on the past, present, and future of the park. From 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., there will be a variety of activities to partake in. These include guide hikes, a beer garden, Hamden Fire Department demonstration, live music, food trucks, trading post, and community partner tables.
With the weather starting to cool down, the leaves around campus have been starting to change.
It's the start of my favorite season, sweatshirts and shorts weather. Here's Brittany Brown-Lieben with more details on the forecast for the next few weeks.
Thanks, Seb and Brianna. Let's move right into our 3-day forecast because as you guys can see at Sleeping Giant, full foliage is in full effect. Let's start with today. We have a high of 66 and a low of 45. Moving to Thursday, we have a high of 62, very sunny out with a low of 42. And then on Friday, we have a high of 68 and a low of 54, still with the sun. That's all I have for our 3-day forecast. We'll be back right after these commercial breaks.
Where did the time go? I don't know how I got here.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
My name's Stacy, I'm 57, and I was adopted in 2020. One teen can come in and make you look at life in a whole different way.
You know, he's my father, so I look up to him a lot. If I can be 10% of the man he is, I'll be a happy person for sure.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back to the Q30 Newscast, and thanks for sticking with us. The Quinnipiac community collaborated with Hartford Healthcare on Wednesday to hold Fresh Check Day. Here's Q30's Andrew Ellison for more on what the day entailed.
Fresh Check Day is an event brought to college campuses that promotes mental health awareness and suicide prevention. It is a program of the Jordan Poco Foundation, and the 13th annual event occurred midday yesterday on the Quad.
They can hopefully learn more about mental health and where they could get help on campus and just in the community in general, and also some signs. Maybe they see friends that have, that they think may have some signs of depression or anxiety and how to talk to them. So hopefully they'll learn a lot about that.
The event included theme booths and provided an interactive experience where students can learn about mental health awareness.
It's been really nice. I love the mental health awareness everywhere, and everyone is so nice.
I agree. It's been really nice to learn about like depression, anxiety, and just mental health in general. A lot of the tables have a lot to educate us on.
Representatives from the Connecticut Council on Problem Gambling attended with the purpose of raising awareness on the risk of gambling and to encourage students who are of age to gamble responsibly.
We collect a lot of surveys on campus, anonymous surveys about gambling, and give away a bunch of information and resources for where folks can get help if they need it.
The overall goal of the event is to educate students about what they can do to help people struggling with their mental health.
Fresh Check Day has been a good experience for those wanting to learn more about mental health awareness and suicide prevention and what we can do as a Quinnipiac community to help those in need. Reporting from the Quad for Q30 News, I'm Andrew Allison.
As flu season quickly approaches, students will now have the opportunity to receive their vaccines on campus. Student Health Services is hosting 4 flu shot clinics throughout the month of October. Students will be able to receive the flu shots on October 10th, 24th, and 28th on the Montgomery campus, and on October 17th on York Hill. Students must bring their driver's license or a valid ID and their health insurance card to receive a vaccine.
This Friday, York Hill residents will be experiencing a stimulated power outage between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. University facilities will be testing repairs on the main electrical grid. Students should be aware of avoiding the usage of elevators and Wi-Fi on campus. On Monday, NBC's Steve Kornacki visited Quinnipiac as part of the Critical Conversation series. Kornacki is a national political correspondent for NBC News and MSNBC. He spoke about this year's upcoming election and the current polling numbers. He also answered questions from the audience. The goal of the Critical Conversations is to foster an inclusive and intellectually stimulating environment at Quinnipiac.
The actual polls and how I kind of communicate that was, I think it's what I was just saying up front. It's look, we don't have to look that far. We can look back to 2020 and we can find polling misses. We can look back to 2016 and we can find polling misses. And I think the really interesting thing is the same.
With it being just a month away from Election Day, there's been a lot happening amongst both political parties.
Maddie Kelly is in studio for more on this week's political news.
Thanks, guys. Here's what I have for politics. With less than a month until Election Day, Vice President Kamala Harris and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz have begun a major media blitz aiming to ramp up voter engagement across all platforms. The campaign, which kicked off on Sunday, includes interviews on CBS 60 Minutes, appearances on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel Live, The View, The Howard Stern Show, and Alex Cooper's podcast, Call Her Daddy. The pair is also hitting key battleground states, Nevada and Arizona, later this week. The media surge comes as Republicans, particularly Trump's running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, has criticized Harris and Walz for avoiding the press. Former President Donald Trump returned to Butler, Pennsylvania on Saturday for a rally at the site where he barely survived an assassination attempt in July. Trump recounted the grueling moments of the attack, praising the U.S. Secret Service for their bravery in shielding him. Appearing with Trump for the first time on the campaign trail, billionaire Elon Musk voiced his support, calling the upcoming election, quote, the most important of our lifetime, end quote. Heightened security was present at the rally, with law enforcement stationed on rooftops, including the building where the shooter had opened fire in July. A federal corruption trial in Illinois began on Monday, focusing on longtime political figure Michael Madigan, a former Illinois House Speaker. Madigan, who held power in state politics for decades, faces racketeering and bribery charges related to an alleged scheme involving favors for utility company ComEd in exchange for legislative benefits. Prosecutors are set to present evidence on the company offering jobs and contracts to Madigan's associates in return for political influence. Madigan has since denied all of the allegations. That's all I have for politics. I'll send it back to the desk.
It has been over a year of conflict between Israel and Hamas. Q30's Julia Barcello is live with a look on how the war has progressed.
Hi, Seb and Brianna. Monday, October 7th marked the 1 year since Hamas's first attacks on Israel. Over 1,200 Israeli lives have been lost, and many across the world spent Monday mourning the loss of their loved ones. And here at Quinnipiac University, students recognized the 1 year marking of these attacks with a memorial service at the Herald House. I also spoke with Quinnipiac's Rabbi Judd regarding how the university provides a space for those of the Jewish religion. In a wider scope, Connecticut Senator Blumenthal traveled to Israel Monday to meet with Prime Minister Netanyahu. I have some of what was said in this meeting, but for now, reporting from the Herald House, Julie Barcello, Q30 News.
Now, Brianna, it is unfortunately the time where we have to go to break, but we'll be back soon. What can we look forward to?
Sarah will have Brittany Brown-Lieben back in studio for a full weather forecast and a look into this week's national news. We'll be back in minute 30.
Owen, when you came into my life, it was a whirlwind.
I just can't do it.
We didn't know what the future would hold, but we knew you would always be a part of it. Adopting you was the best decision in our life. And I am so proud to call you my son.
We are taught you don't talk about your problems with nobody because you could get in trouble. And I've been through a lot. Anxiety, depression, sexual assault. When I decided to get help, my life changed. And the mental health box, that was one of the big tools. Accepting help means that we are allowing somebody to bless our life. It's freeing. We got stronger together. Love your mind.
Welcome back to tonight's newscast, and thanks for sticking with us.
With Fall Fest coming up this weekend, Brittany Brown-Lieben is back to give us an update on this weekend's weather.
Thanks, Brianna. Let's move into our 7-week forecast. Starting on Wednesday, it's a little cloudy. We have a high of 66, a low of 45. Moving to Thursday, a nice sunny day, high of 62, low of 42. Moving to Friday, our day off of campus, we have a high of 74 and a low of 47. A perfect day to go pumpkin picking or apple picking. Saturday, we have partly cloudy weather, high of 74, low of 47. On Sunday, again, a little cloudy. We have a high of 61, low of 50. A little colder for this weekend, but still perfect weather for all those fall activities. Moving to Monday, we see a high of 62, low of 42. And then on Tuesday, we see a high of 59 and a low of 41. Moving over to the Connecticut view, all the way up in north for Torrington, we have a high of 56 and a low of 41. Moving over to Hartford, a high of 60, low of 41. Still cloudy weather. Danbury, we see a high of 64. Still this cloudy weather with a low of 42. Moving all the way down south to Stamford, we see a high of 59 and a low of 43. Moving to New Haven, a nice little sunny day, high of 61, low of 47. And then moving to Norwich, we see a high of 58, a low of 39. And then in New London, we see a high of 59 and a low of 41. I know, guys, it's a little bit colder this weekend, but still perfect for Fall Fest activities. Do you guys have any plans for this weekend?
You know, Seb, I plan on spending a lot of time outside this weekend.
I'll be spending some time outside before I head inside for the PSU versus Quinnipiac game.
Now, on a more serious note, this past Monday marked 1 year since the start of the Hamas attacks. Q30's Julie Barcello has more on how Quinnipiac recognized the attack.
Over the past year, almost 42,000 lives have been lost in the Middle East due to the Israel-Hamas war, making this one of the deadliest wars fought on either side. Hamas attacked Israeli warplanes pushing airstrikes inside the narrow strip of Palestinian territory on October 7, 2023. By the end of the month, Israeli forces launched a ground invasion of Gaza. The Israel Defense Forces and Hamas said Monday more rockets were fired from Gaza towards Tel Aviv, wounding 2 women in the city. Later, 2 sirens ran in Tel Aviv, forcing people who were preparing for an evening memorial to take cover. In a statement from President Biden Monday, he urged the world to, quote, bear witness to the unspeakable brutality of the October 7th attacks, but also to the beauty of the lives that were stolen that day. In Connecticut, Senator Blumenthal visited Israel Monday in commemoration of the 1 year. Blumenthal met with Prime Minister Netanyahu in seeking a peace deal. The two spoke about how Israel will move forward and seize peace. Blumenthal told the CT Post, quote, I'm more hopeful than ever that there is a path toward peace, which includes bringing the hostages home and a path to normalization of relations between these countries, which would be historic and in everyone's interests. On campus, the Herald House for Jewish Life held a memorial Monday night where students were able to honor the lives lost. University Rabbi Rena Judd said she is thankful Quinnipiac students have been peaceful on campus.
I just am so grateful for the lack of hysteria and crisis.
Rabbi Judd hopes to provide a space for all students to find peace during these difficult times. Reporting from the Herald House, Julie Marcello, Q30 News.
There has been a lot going on nationally, ranging from a devastating hurricane making landfall in Florida to a new virus the CDC is testing.
Sydney Weimer is live in studio with updates on everything that is going on around the country.
Thanks, Seb and Brianna. We have lots of national news updates to go over this week, so let's get right into it. Starting off in Florida, the Gulf Coast has been bracing for Hurricane Milton, which is set to make landfall early tomorrow morning. The storm has been labeled Category 5 since Monday afternoon after intensifying from a previous Category 3 in just a matter of hours. According to the National Hurricane Center, Milton will cause winds up to 180 miles per hour, as well as result in 15 million flood watches across the Florida Peninsula. Additionally, up to 15 inches of precipitation can be expected in affected areas as the storm surges into Thursday. Widespread evacuation orders have been in effect, with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis declaring emergencies in 51 state counties. Milton comes just over a week after previous Hurricane Helene made landfall in Florida on September 26th, leaving the southeastern region of the United States already recovering from damage. As of right now, the exact duration of Milton is unclear, but officials anticipate the storm's condition will last several days. Now moving into some important information regarding travel regulations to and from the United States. The CDC has announced that starting mid-October, screenings will take place for airline travelers entering the United States from Rwanda. This announcement comes after concerns following the rising cases of the Marburg virus. Rwandan officials have identified 49 cases within the country as of last Sunday. Symptoms of the disease are said to appear 2 to 21 days after exposure and mirror common symptoms of Ebola, such as sore throat, vomiting, rashes, and hemorrhagic fevers. In a statement Monday, the CDC shared that passengers having traveled to Rwanda within the last 21 days expecting to enter the U.S. will be rerouted to one of 3 airports for the screenings to take place, including Chicago O'Hare, JFK in New York, and Washington Dulles in suburban Virginia. As of now, no cases of the Marburg virus in the U.S. have been documented, but precautions are enforced to prevent further spread of the disease. Finally, moving over to New Jersey, where the Camden-based drinking water supplier, American Water Works, announced Monday that there has been hacker disruption within their online systems. The disruption comes as a result of unauthorized activity last Thursday within their networks. As a result, a precautionary system shutdown took place to protect customer data, leaving 14 million impacted and all billing processes to be paused. As of Tuesday afternoon, the company's customer service portal, Maywater, has remained offline. Currently, it is unclear what exact unauthorized activity prompted the shutdown and for how long it will remain, but American Water Works is currently in cooperation with law enforcement on resolving the issue. That's all the national news updates I have for you this week. Now let's send it back to Seb and Brianna at the desk.
Quinnipiac Public Safety hosted an open house earlier today from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. It gave an opportunity for students interested in campus safety to visit their space and see the range of services they provide. Visitors also had the chance to ask the officers questions regarding what they do. For tonight's Wellness Wednesday, we have a new study which suggests that the benefits from water fluoridation may not be as prominent due to the widespread use of toothpaste and mouthwash. Communities across the U.S. have started to opt out of adding fluoride to their water, saying that it should be up to the individual rather than the government to decide what is in the water.
Researchers are still saying that despite the findings, cities should not pull back on adding fluoride to their water. It has still been found as an effective way to reduce cavities. Having fluoride in the water can reduce tooth decay by up to 25%.
Now we have to take our final break of the show tonight. However, when we get back, we will be talking sports,
as well as the Bobcat Challenge and a story on a new cafe. Don't go anywhere, we will be right back shortly.
Have you ever helped a fellow veteran?
Of course.
Yes. Have you ever asked for help yourself?
It's always tough, right?
I always feel like I can solve my own problems, but eventually, you just can't deal with it on your own.
And you start to question, maybe people would be better off without me. When you realize that you're not alone, once you take that first step, there's so much support.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.
Meet the scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Thanks for sticking with us for our final commercial break. Today marks the start of the Bobcat Challenge, a 2-day event to support Quinnipiac student athletes and spirit groups. The event encourages student athletes, staff, alumni, and parents to make donations to help support the 21 Division I teams on campus. It not only highlights the work of the student athletes and coaches, but also the passionate support of their fans. The challenge will feature team-specific matches and challenges. Donations can be made from now until the end of the day, Thursday, October 10th.
Brianna, you know me. I'm a massive sports guy, and right now I'm swimming in joy. From my New York Mets playoff run to hockey being back at the bank in Hamden.
I'm excited to see hockey back too, Seb, but there has been plenty of sports news this week at Quinnipiac. Becca Calkins is here to give us a rundown on all things Quinnipiac sports.
Thanks, guys. It's been a huge week of Quinnipiac sports. Starting on the ice, the men's ice hockey team kicked off their season in Hamden this past Saturday in an exhibition matchup. The Bobcats took on the Northeastern Huskies in their preseason opener, with former Bobcat Christophe Tellier making his return to the bank after transferring to the Huskies in the offseason. Tellier made his presence felt early, netting a goal just under 5 minutes into the game. The Huskies didn't stop there, scoring 4 goals in the first 2 periods and defeating the Bobcats by a final score of 4. The Quinnipiac goals were scored by Chris Pelosi and Alex Power, both in the second period. The Bobcats will be back in action for their regular season opener on Saturday at home against Penn State. Transitioning to the pitch, the men's soccer team began conference play this past weekend as they traveled to take on new MAC opponent, the Sacred Heart Pioneers. Quinnipiac entered the game with a 3-4-1 non-conference record and was looking to get to the 500 mark on the season. After nearly 70 scoreless minutes, the Bobcats broke through with a penalty kick goal from forward William Holland. Just 5 minutes later, midfielder Sivert Rizdalsness scored his first career goal for the Bobcats, doubling their lead to 2-0. The Pioneers responded with a goal from midfielder David Garcia Gallego, pulling Sacred Heart within 1 for the final 10 minutes. With just 5 seconds remaining, defenseman Luke Schierenbeck put the game away for Quinnipiac, scoring his second goal of the season. The Bobcats would win 3-1 and will travel to Rider University for their game on Sunday. Lastly, on the court, the volleyball team had 2 in-state conference matchups over the weekend. The Bobcats traveled to Fairfield University on Saturday and returned home against Sacred Heart on Sunday. On Saturday, the Stags swept the Bobcats in straight sets, defeating them 25-19, 25-21, and 25-21 respectively. Quinnipiac then welcomed Sacred Heart to Burt Court on Sunday, trying to avenge its loss from the day before. The Bobcats defeated the Pioneers in straight sets. Opposite Elena Giacomini and outside hitter Leilani Kaijusta led the team in kills on the weekend with 22 apiece. Opposite Alexandra Tenin and outside hitter Yamir Ganesh and middle blocker Milena Silva also recorded double-figure kills on the weekend. The Bobcats will return home for their game against Manhattan on Saturday. That's all for sports this week. Back to Seb and Brianna at the desk.
You know, Seb, I'm very excited for this weekend's Penn State hockey game, first regular home season game of the season.
Yeah, Penn State's always right there in the middle of the pack, and Quinnipiac's another really good team. Should be an absolute blast.
It's going to be a great game, but it's going to be a great game this Saturday.
Yeah. My first newscast has been an absolute blast, but like they say, time flies when you're having fun, and tonight was no different.
Tonight has definitely flown by, but unfortunately it's time to say goodbye. Be sure to follow us on all social media to stay up to date. Thank you to all the producers and everyone working hard behind the scenes. For Seb Lopes, I'm Brianna Trachtenberg. Have a great evening, Bobcats.